Now we're ready to dig into the app. A heads up though, I'm working out of the Dropbox because that way I can have my files at home and at school. So my next file is going to be called CircleMesh_1. And then eventually these will say PolyMesh underscore whatever number it is. Now back in the Finder, PolyMesh 1_2. If I change that link and you get PolyMesh 1_3 or 4 or 5, you're working on a later iteration of this project, of these files. So there you go. This is a work in progress, so this is going to change. Right now you only have the application itself and the source, and this is the code that powers it. This application is going to create additional folders and save your content in this same folder in your Documents folder. That's what I wanted you guys to understand. Here, just one more time. This is in the Documents. There's PolyMesh. Got it? Okay. So when you launch this, here's the controls. Now notice that there are controls here with up and down. Moving up that little layer stack, there's 4 possible layers. The first layer, you can't change the maximum. It's just one shape. That's the one that I deleted. Now this can work, I imagine, and you can change the radius of it. It says sides here. If you change the sides, nothing's going to happen. You have to click down here on shape. As soon as you click on shape, this now assumes a 6-sided figure. Got it? 5, 4, and I love how the square is a diamond. So I'm going to start out with a diamond here, and I'm going to make this size smaller because, and you can't go under 10. This has, does that say? That says 20. Sorry, don't have my glasses on, and I'm leaning up close to these little dinky numbers. And now that's your base shape, okay? And there's visibility. I don't know if I turn visibility off on this if the next layers work that way. So you go up to the next layer, and this now changes to zeros. It still says 6 sides here. I change this back down to 4. I said 4 or 5. Heck. There we go. Now I can see. Change that to 4 and pick a side. And how many do you want? And see, it went back to circles. It's not, it's going to its default. I change that, and there's 4 of these. And now, is this great? I don't know. You know, I don't know where this is going. But I do know that hue, saturation, and brightness are how you control the colors. And I wanted to show you something cool here because hue, saturation, and brightness, when you pick a color, let's say we like that color, there's the hue, saturation, and brightness. This slider here goes from 1 to 100. This should go to 255. I'm going to ask Cam to change that because if it goes to 255, depending on what you pick, let's say you like that color right there, well, that's 292. And then the saturation and brightness. And if I wanted that, well, you could dial this in with 292, 36, and 89 back over here, which would be great. And it would be great if we could type these numbers in. I want Cam to listen to this because these are things I would like to see added. So I'm going to come out there about to that hue. What was the saturation? I don't know. And the brightness? Check that out. 89, there we go. So it's up here somewhere. And then do we want a stroke? Now I love adding a stroke. We can always add these in Illustrator. And I change these to white typically, so now I'm thinking, why am I adding a stroke here when I could just do it in Illustrator? I don't know, but there you go. And the stroke I'm going to make approximately the same. And There we go. It's not a big deal. Then the transparency by default is 17. Now that's just fine. You can play with this and see what you like. But here we go. And then we go up a layer. And then let's pick our next. And I'm going to stick with these squares again. And how many sides? You know, I kind of like that. So, and then we can just play with this guy here. And how is that going to show through? And is it even going to look good? It doesn't matter. There's a clue for you. It doesn't matter because we can change this. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that and just approximate this same thing. And it's not necessary that you do that. It's not necessary you pick the same colors I am. Then I'm going to go up another layer, and let's see what we got here. And do we want to drop circles on top of this? Now, that's a choice you can make. I'm going to go back to our four-sided shapes just to see what happens. I don't know if this is going to be good or not. This is an experiment. And I'm going to try maybe some blue just to see what happens there. And again with the stroke, and again with something similar. You can dial these in if you want exactly the same. All of this can be changed in Illustrator. And then if I like that, and here's where we can save presets and we can push them out to be saved and we can pull them if we've got other presets. We'll get into that further down the way. And duplicating things, there's some other power here. But for right now, to save this, look down at your keyboard. There's the alphabet where you type most of the time on the left-hand side. There's a number pad on the right-hand side. In between the two, there's the four arrows, the up, down, left, and right. The up arrow saves. Watch what happens. Watch right here when I click the up arrow. And actually, I'm going to pull a finder up and pull this over here so you can watch this at the same time. Because when I click the up arrow, PolyMesh is going to do something cool. Boom, there's the up arrow. This thing blinked. You now have a data folder, and inside this data folder is an output and the save number. Now don't edit this. Let this thing just run, and it's gonna work along with your files. But in this output is a PDF, and it starts with number 0. And then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So this wasn't my 4th. This was actually my 5th. I forgot the 0. And this is what we're going to work on in the next video.